You ever seen someone get handcuffed for saving a man's life? No, really, saving his life. And then walked out of court like she was the criminal? Yeah, that happened. And if you think this story is just about one bad decision in a courtroom, oh, buckle up, friend. Because what unfolded next in downtown Chicago wasn't just a legal mess. It was a masterclass in pride, power, and what happens when you stand too tall in a room built to keep you small. Let me take you back. Thursday morning, Jackson County Courthouse. The place was dead quiet, like always, except for the low hum of fluorescent lights, the shuffling of case files, and the sharp voice of Judge Malcolm Reeves, a man so cold the walls felt warmer than he did. White hair, wire-rimmed glasses, a bench he'd sat on for 35 years like it owed him rent. Folks said he didn't smile unless it hurt someone. And today, oh, he was in rare form. He had this young black woman standing in front of him, barely out of her 20s, trembling like a leaf, clutching her public defender's arm while he barked down at her. "You missed court twice because of childcare? You think this is a playground, Miss Grant?" She whispered something, probably trying to explain, maybe apologize. But he cut her off with a sigh so loud the gallery flinched. "People like you never take responsibility. Always an excuse. Always a sob story." 2 rows back, in navy blue scrubs and a hospital badge clipped to her chest, sat Naomi Ford. ICU nurse, 20 years on the job. Hadn't planned to be there. She was a witness in some boring records case. But she watched. And boy, she'd heard that tone before, back in med school, when a professor told her she was too emotional for trauma care, or when a grieving family demanded a more experienced nurse, even though she'd saved more lives than anyone else on that floor. That tone, the polished, polite kind of racism wrapped up in civility, it cut deeper because it smiled while it sliced. And then, mid-sentence, Judge Reeves froze. His lips stuttered on a word. His hand gripped the bench. His eyes darted like static, then rolled back. And just like that, the man collapsed. You could hear the thud echo against the wood. For a second, no one moved. Not the bailiff, not the attorneys. Just a slow gasp, then dead silence. Then Naomi stood. "Move," she said, loud and clear. "I'm a nurse. Move now." She didn't ask. She commanded. That's what 20 years in trauma does to you. She crossed the room like she was walking into an ER, not a courtroom. Dropped to her knees, checked his pulse. Nothing. Airway. Clear. Chest. Not rising. Naomi locked her hands, braced her body, and started compressions. 1, 2, 3. Deep, steady, life-saving pushes. Sweat started to bead on her forehead. Rescue breaths. More compressions. Her whole world narrowed to rhythm, pressure, oxygen. No noise, no crowd, no judge, just a human being dying under her hands. 30 seconds later, maybe more, maybe less, who even knows, Judge Reeves coughed. It was dry, ragged, ugly, but alive. Naomi caught the faint flutter of his pulse and sat back just enough to let the medics in as they finally rushed through the doors. And then, handcuffs. The bailiff, who hadn't moved a muscle to help, told her she was under arrest for disrupting court operations. Let that sink in. She saved the man's life, and they slapped cuffs on her like she'd thrown a chair. As they walked her out, Naomi didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just kept her chin up, sneakers tapping on cold marble, every step echoing like some twisted punchline. They took her badge, her shoelaces, her dignity, if they could have figured out how to fit that on a form. They fingerprinted her without saying a word. "Disrupting court," the officer said, not even looking at her. "I saved a man's life," she whispered. He shut the door in her face. Now, here's where it gets wild. That moment, that CPR scene, yeah, someone in the courtroom, a clerk maybe, uploaded it. A clean, 32-second clip. No edits. Just Naomi saving the judge. It went viral. Overnight, half the city was screaming her name, and by morning, the other half was outside the courthouse with hand-painted signs. "Protect our healers." Justice for Naomi. Compassion isn't a crime. But inside that cell, Naomi didn't know any of it. She sat with her back to the wall, sore, exhausted, silent, until he showed up. Andre Mayfield, civil rights lawyer, calm voice, pressed suit, eyes that looked like they'd seen too much too young. He picked up the jailhouse phone, met her eyes, and said, "Miss Ford, I saw the video. I came because I believe you shouldn't face this alone." She blinked. "I didn't call anyone." He nodded. "You didn't have to. The truth called me." He told her not to worry, told her this was bigger than one courtroom, that people were paying attention now. And when she asked quietly what would happen next, he didn't promise a win. He promised a fight. The hearing was surreal. Naomi sat in a wooden chair like any other defendant. The courtroom looked the same, but the air was thick, tense. The judge this time? Cooler, quieter. But Naomi had learned. Neutrality ain't the same as justice. Sometimes it's just indifference in a tie. Andre made his case. Courtroom footage, paramedic statements, her license, her training, her instincts. And then, twist number 2, Dr. Rafael Morales took the stand. An aging cardiologist with nervous hands and a quiet voice. Said he'd been Judge Reeves's private physician for nearly a decade. Said the judge had a heart condition. Said he wasn't supposed to be working at all. "He told me he'd retire after the summer," Morales said. "Said he didn't trust anyone else to keep these kids in line." Then he shrugged. "But Naomi Ford? She saved his life. Whatever else this court is debating, that part isn't up for discussion." Even the judge paused at that one. The prosecutor tried to pivot, called it reckless interference. But Andre wasn't done. "We've got audio," he said. "Clear as day. Judge Reeves saying, 'Help me.' Are we criminalizing responding now? Because if we are, we might as well lock up every firefighter and EMT in this city." Naomi stayed quiet. That was her way. But when the judge asked if she had anything to say before the motion was ruled on, she stood slowly, eyes steady. "I didn't walk into that courtroom to challenge anyone. I wasn't there to make a scene. I was there as a witness. But when a man fell, when his breathing stopped, I did what I was trained to do. I didn't see a judge. I saw a patient." She paused, just long enough to let it land. "And I won't apologize for being human." The court fell still. And for the first time in 2 days, Naomi felt something. Not victory, but something close. A shift. Like the truth finally weighed more than the silence around it. The judge promised to rule within 48 hours. But outside, the verdict was already in. Neighbors gathered. Kids Naomi had treated at free clinics showed up with signs. One woman handed her a photo. Her husband had survived a heart attack last year because Naomi refused to give up after the code blew. And at home, her daughter Layla, 15 years old, eyes red from worry, wrapped her arms around her mother's waist and whispered, "I thought they weren't gonna let you go." Naomi kissed her forehead. "I did too." Later that night, she stood at her front door, holding her old nursing cap, one her brother gave her for high school career day. He used to say she looked like a hero in it. She smiled. "Guess I'm wearing it for real now." Across the street, candles flickered. Someone set up a folding table with lemonade. Someone else passed around Sharpies for people to leave messages. "Thank you, Naomi. You saved more than him. We see you." She wasn't ready to join them, not yet, but she saw them, and she didn't hide. "You tell me, was she a hero or a threat, a nurse or a nuisance? Did she disrupt the court or expose what's wrong with it?" Drop your thoughts below, because if this was your sister, your mother, your neighbor, would you call it justice, or would you call it what it is, a system scared of the very people keeping it alive? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that deserve to be heard.